They called her the Galactic Oracle, being older than most star systems, a creature whose predictions had steered empires away from extinction and guided fleets through nebulae that swallowed entire worlds. She spoke with the calm certainty of someone who had seen the rise and fall of civilizations. But on the day she encountered a single human child, her voice broke. Witnesses said her hands trembled, her eyes dimmed, and her warning echoed across the cosmic council. Do not provoke humanity. Why would a child shake an immortal? If you love stories where humanity surprises the universe, make sure to tap like and subscribe. It helps the channel grow, and it tells me you want more HFY stories just like this one. And hey, if something in this tale shocks you, feel free to share it. Let your friends wonder what scared the Oracle too. The Galactic Oracle felt the disturbance long before anyone else noticed it. For centuries, her visions unfolded like calm rivers, clear, predictable, almost gentle. But now, every time her sight brushed against the distant blue world called Solthry, the river snapped into a storm, images fractured, timelines twisted, and in the middle of it all, she sensed something small, yet impossibly bright. She retreated deeper into her chamber, hoping silence would steady her thoughts. Instead, the visions struck harder. Fleets burning, stars bending, entire species kneeling before an unidentified force. And always there was the same presence at the center of it. Humanity, fragile, loud, chaotic, but burning with a potential she could not measure. The High Council assumed her distress came from exhaustion. They whispered that even ancient minds could falter. But the Oracle knew better. She had guided empires through supernova and plagues that devoured galaxies. She had never once misread a future. So why did the humans blur her sight like a broken lens? As she stood before the council for her daily report, her voice quivered for the first time in millennia. Something was coming. Something tied to Solthry. And it terrified even her. When the human delegation arrived at the Galactic Council station, no one expected them to bring a child. Humans rarely traveled with their young, especially not to a political summit with 57 alien species watching their every move. Yet there he was, small, curious, clutching a worn backpack decorated with hand-drawn stars. His name was Leo. While the adults exchanged diplomatic greetings, Leo wandered with the carefree confidence only a child could possess. He peered up at towering reptilian ambassadors, waved at crystalline life forms, and asked questions that made translators glitch. Most species found him harmless. A few found him adorable. The Oracle found him impossible to perceive. The moment Leo entered the council chamber, her vision split like shattered glass. Instead of the present moment, she saw flashes, galaxies blooming, weapons dissolving into dust, entire empires rising not through conquest but through something stranger, human influence. Each glimpse was anchored to that same small figure walking across the marble floor, humming softly to himself. The Oracle's breath faltered. Leo wasn't doing anything unusual. He wasn't threatening or powerful or even particularly aware of where he was. But the energy around him rippled like a star about to ignite, and the Oracle felt the universe shift. The first anomaly happened when Leo tripped, a harmless stumble, nothing dramatic. His backpack slipped, a few colored pencils scattered across the polished council floor, and the boy let out a startled gasp. But the moment that sound echoed through the chamber, the lights flickered. Gravity warped for half a second. Several ambassadors levitated an inch before crashing back down. Every alarm in the station triggered at once. The council guards scrambled, shouting about sabotage, gravitational weapons, or an attack from a hidden fleet. But the readings didn't match anything known. No pulse energy, no exotic particles, no hostile signatures. Only one constant appeared in every data stream. The spike originated exactly where Leo stood. The boy simply blinked, confused, and whispered an apology for dropping stuff. He had no idea the universe had hiccuped around him. The Oracle, however, felt the shockwave ripple through her mind. When Leo laughed nervously another small human sound, the temporal fields around the station surged again. Lines of probability twisted like vines trying to grow toward him. As if time itself leaned in closer, curious. This wasn't a weapon. It wasn't even intentional. It was something far more dangerous. Raw human potential, unshaped and innocent. The council chamber fell into uneasy silence as the oracle rose from her seat. Her movements were slow, almost hesitant, so unlike the serene confidence she was known for. Every species watched her, waiting for the calm, measured wisdom that had guided the galaxy for ages. Instead, she looked afraid. Her eyes, swirling with star-like patterns, locked onto Leo. "I have seen this presence before," she whispered, her voice trembling. "Long before your worlds existed." The diplomats exchanged startled glances. Humans frowned in confusion. Leo simply tightened his grip on his backpack. The oracle continued, each word heavy as collapsing suns. "A force that cannot be predicted, a spark that reshapes timelines. When humanity enters the stream of fate, futures unravel and reform around them. They break impossibilities without understanding them. They bend cosmic laws by accident." Gasps rippled through the chamber. She raised a trembling hand toward Leo. "And this child? He is proof. His mind is unshaped, his emotions pure. Such innocence grants him access to potential adults can no longer reach. His near presence bends probability." Geo stepped back, eyes wide. I didn't do anything. That," the oracle said, voice cracking, "is exactly why the galaxy should fear you." Panic simmered beneath the council's polished decorum. Every ambassador sensed it. This wasn't just a diplomatic inconvenience. This was a revelation that rewrote the balance of power. And in the center of it all, Leo stood quietly, unaware of the fear swirling around him. The oracle lifted her staff, its light flickering like a distressed star. "Hear me," she commanded, and even the air seemed to still. "You must not provoke humanity." A shudder passed through the crowd. "Not because they seek domination," she continued, "but because they are guided by something deeper than logic, emotion, creativity, stubborn hope. When threatened, they unlock forces the universe cannot map. When cornered, they rise beyond any boundary." She pointed toward Leo again. "If a child can bend probability without intent, imagine a united species acting with purpose." Silence. Heavy. Absolute. The human delegation exchanged stunned looks. Leo only whispered, "Am I in trouble?" The oracle's expression softened for the first time. "No, child. But the galaxy might be if it forgets what your kind can become." Her final decree echoed like a prophecy carved into the bones of space. Respect humanity, fear their potential, and above all, do not provoke them. If this story made you rethink humanity's place in the stars, you're not alone. Tap like, subscribe, and share if you want more hfyTales where humans don't just survive the galaxy, they shake it.